Welcome back to Officers IAS Academy for this mains crash course. Now a lot of energy is there, also some fear also I can see in some faces, whether this crash course, what is going to happen, whether it will be useful or not. Whoever is in the border, don't worry at all. See, first and foremost is already you have lost some days. That's why last week we started with this kickstart campaign, because I was also feeling guilty that just like that we are allowing students because the days have started already. Now, if you are going to wait for the result, see, even now if you calculate hardly 90 days for your mains exam. Now, if you are going to wait for your result, take my word, you are out of race. Now, another 30 days will go, and by that time, once moment result comes out, and if you are in great anticipation, because every year I see some students, 1 week they celebrate their victory over prelims, and after that, 55 days only will remain, and you are out of race. So, better start today. Anyhow, you have caught the tiger's tail, that is the UPSC civil service, whatever, that IAS dream, you have already caught it. Now you cannot leave it. So this year or next year, you have to kill it. So better start now. If you are clearing, well and good. Even if you don't, if you are in the border, still my suggestion is start now. It is not going to go waste, because whatever, this is all current affairs, whatever we are going to cover, it is also going to be useful for your prelims, also mains, just they repeat. And current affairs portion, at least 2 years, 3 years, that period is there. It's not exactly 1 year. So better start now, and better this writing practice, everything, it will be useful. And if you are clearing, yes, all the more, already you should have started. That's why I told last week itself you should have started. In case if you have not done that, it is time. You should start immediately. Now when compared to prelims, I always see this prelims mains interview. One, my own experience, also the experience of our students, all these 5 years. When compared to prelims, mains is much easier. And when compared to mains, interview is easier, if you know how to approach. Normally, it is told otherwise. Always say, people say prelims is easy, mains is little tough, interview is toughest. Not at all. It is exactly opposite. Prelims, in fact, is more dicey, because given the volume of syllabus and unpredictable nature of the service commission. Whereas mains, it's more, if you play to like this McGrath style, I'll say, cricket, whoever, to the line, don't deviate, then mains is through, and interview is not a knowledge test, it's a personality test. We'll see at that point of time. That is the easiest. Even with 5-6 questions, out of 20-25 questions, you can land up in above 190-195 marks. Just 4-5 questions will only decide the marks of the interview. And that is not the knowledge. So that part we'll cover it later. So mains is definitely easier than the prelims, provided you follow the correct methods. Now when I was, say for example, a few years before, how this mains is. See, when compared to prelims, why I always say mains is easier is, prelims only 2 hours, 120 questions, and fraction of 2 minutes if you are blocked, always that mental block comes. Suddenly you get lost. 2 minutes if you are blocked, you are out of race. And time to regain is very less. Whereas in mains, you have 21 hours. Aram se you can, means forget those 6 hours of the compulsory papers. So 21 hours, which is going to decide whether you are an IAS or IPS, whether you are going to get the interview call, then service, those 21 is big time. Now when I wrote, earlier I always say this example. Earlier, first I got IRTS. Now after that I got settled, then later I thought, okay, again we'll write. I hardly got 1.5 months leave, railway traffic service, before mains only landed, maybe 45 days maximum. Came back, started reading, revising, because I gave bond for 3 years. So the 3-year bond got over. So by that time, whatever I read, forgotten. So now I had to manage I realized otherwise I will get stuck up in NF Railway. I was in North Frontier Railway in Assam, that area. And railway has one peculiar concept for once you are allotted that zone, first 10 years you can never move out. Now you are locked there. Now, and after that also hardly 2 to 3 years deputation, you have to go back to your parent zone. So with 45 days time, I came back. Then whatever possible, it's all a mental how you manage. That's what I always think about this prelims, mains and interview. Knowledge everyone has, how you manage it. So within 40-45 days, yes, I started. Then once yes, GS went through well, and those days 2 optional. My first optional was public administration. I started morning paper, afternoon paper. In fact, the previous day I was so disturbed. Suddenly that fear factor started. In case if we don't clear, what will happen? That fear. So I started, then went to, it was Presidency School, Egmore. Started and totally blocked. I couldn't start the paper at all. Just I was seeing those comment questions. First I thought I'll start with that. Started writing, then struck. I was not satisfied. 2003 paper that was. So 2004 service I was, 2003 mains. Then I thought, okay, we'll go for long answers. So then instead of comment questions, let us go long answers. Because comment 1 I started, I was not satisfied. So struck the first, you see the paper I am starting and I am striking. Then I started writing. That was, I still remember, you can go and check evolution in public administration. So I started evolution, Woodrow Wilson, something I started. Then suddenly somewhere I was not getting names. I still remember there is one Herbert Simon, one scholar, which everyone will know. He wrote a book on functions of executive, how all that cooperative thing, decision making, all these things I should have written. But it was not at all coming. I forgot the name, that Herbert Simon. Sorry, not Herbert Simon. Chester Bernard. Now Chester Bernard name was not at all coming. So I was just thinking for 5-10 minutes I was wasting my time. Then I thought, it's gone case, close the paper. And I asked madam, whoever was there in the thing, can I go? She told, no, the minimum time is there, something she told. Then I told, anyhow, I'll go to restroom and come. I came out. Just I was standing, whether you believe or not, it happened. I was just waiting outside. Thought I was thinking about the NF Railway, how my life is going to be there for 10 years. However, came back. Then I thought, let's try. Why to give a paper? Let's give a try. What is wrong? I started writing. Now I remember I couldn't recall that name, Chester Bernard, but I remembered his book was Functions of Executive. So I started the one who wrote it, like that I was writing. And after that, take my word, my answers were better because I thought it is gone. Hereafter let us attack whatever we know. And yes, after that second paper, then my second option was psychology, did it, results came, the interview came, All India 59th rank. When marks came, my public administration was all India first, okay, in marks wise. The one which I struck, one which I started, you think once your approach, your mind changes, the entire game changes. Whoever is scribbling in front, beside you in the mains hall, don't get scared, they may not be knowing that right approach. So 21 hours is enough. Now is where you can play around confidently. If you handle the mains paper, it is much easier than your prelims. Now what at Officers Academy we next 2 to 3 months how we are planning is, so Mr. Rangarajan will brief you. Now there will be periodic tests. Test will be followed by a test discussion and then 2 classes. Now if someone wants some additional classes Friday, but this year based on last year experience, what we thought is let us have it minimum, give them maximum time for reading so that they'll read whatever support it will be more like a support mechanism. What is important for the exam, we'll be teaching those 2 classes, and another classes will be test discussion, another will be test. In addition to that, if you want, yes, additional classes are also, we can arrange it on Friday. So 4 to 5 days you can read and 2 days you can start using those 2 days you can stay here. Even see, once the results are out, we can give a separate room for this main students, reading hall, so that they can read separately any material you require. whatever, in addition to whatever we provide. If you want some magazine, something, immediately we can provide you, we can put a separate thing for you, and 1 or 2 hours, you student, because it is no longer that prelims mindset. So, okay, the PCM mindset. You're not immature. Whoever is that main student definitely will be having seriousness. So you can have a discussion also 1 or 2 hours so that you can exchange. Normally we always say don't discuss. Okay, it will be wastage of time, but our 2 to 3 hours you can take where a separate room you can discuss some exchange of points and again keep reading. So that way we can assist. And once the results are out, we can also, like we provided for prelims, mains, separate mentors. The same mentor can also be given, but a separate who's in charge, and they all have a target of 90% when it comes to mains. So mains result conversion, we expect it much more because we are much equipped. I always feel mains is easier to convert the result because all serious students. So there the mentor will play a crucial role. Each one will have a mentor. Periodically they'll say any help, any material, anything, any magazine, you want some notes, some subtopic you are not knowing. So those notes, anything and everything, they'll provide the link, and you can also tell the admin any notes you want or any material you want. You can always tell immediately within a day it will be arranged for you. So test individual feedback will be there definitely, at least after your results. Take my word, every individual when he writes will be given a feedback on his paper. And yeah, one more thing I wanted to say is this notes. Now see, what you read is different, what you write is different. Always we read for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. We have read a lot. Now finally what you are going to write in the paper is going to be much different. Take my word, within that 20 minutes or 10 minutes nowadays, each question 8 to 10 minutes, how much you remember, that is going to be your answer. You could have read volumes related to a particular topic, but finally in that 8 minutes what strikes you, that is going to be the answer. Now whatever the model answers you see it online and all, that is and all just online only. The papers we see every day, we go get service also. The answers will be hardly 4 to 5 points in each and every answer. You can check who got service also. Okay, you can see those papers, hardly 4-5 points or maximum 6 points in will be there, but they'll be answering to that particular question. So what I say is, what you read is very good, but finally what you are going to revise is going to make a lot of difference. You have to revise the entire thing maybe within 1 day. So when you are preparing itself, what I suggest is start taking small hint which you are going to revise. Now don't read volumes. Those volumes, unless it is going to be revised again, it is not going to help you. UPSC is not going to ask how many papers you read. Now what, for that question, how many points you know you have to write. So now itself, any topic when you read, if you think it is important, just put subheadings. Say now you are reading a page. Now in that page, parallel you can put a small box and say survey, then digitization, then Aadhaar, like the 3 points. Only that you will be revising later. You will not have time to read volumes of pages. Take a small piece of paper, you can put it there, like that yellow which stick, whatever you can get. Now that is going, because finally what you revise, and that also you're not going to remember in the exam hall. Unlike your prelims where you have to just recall, the answer is there in the paper, whereas in mains what you write is going to be the answer. So better these things and all you can start doing, because it's hardly 90 days. Now what you can just subheadings, especially for the optional part, that is very crucial. Just take only subheadings. Anyhow you are going to revise only that part. And while revising, in case you are not clear, then you can go back and see what it is, and again go back to your subheading those yellow papers. Now after that, what else? Yeah, this entire mains, see there are totally 5 different formats for answers. The first is when you know the question for general studies. Now when you know the question, first and foremost thing is identify how many questions are there in each question. I have seen even some service students miss out. They always vomit whatever they know and they finally answer only 50%. Say there may be 2 questions in that or 3 questions in a single question. So always first and immediately when you see those 20 questions or every question when you go, first identify how many questions are there. Then each question, there may be also give your view, there may be some, give your opinion, then that should also be a separate subheading. So every question within that single question should have separate subheadings so that the examiner can correct it and give whatever due for that. Now, when they say your opinion, yes, your opinion also should be a separate subheading. Now, this is one format. Second, always underline keyword that while giving the test feedback will tell you. The second format will be for the case studies. Now, myself and Mr. Joseph will handle that session for how to approach that. He'll handle the theory portion, I'll handle the case study part for the mains crash course. Now, how to approach a case study? There is a standard format there. Third, essay. Now, essay, there is no one on par with Mr. Rangarajan. I can challenge. The way he'll give you some 50 to 100 quotes, just mug up, he'll give you a format, and in fact, he's a very good in prediction. He'll make you write, get it corrected 2 to 3 papers, get individual feedback from him. People got 145 to 150 last year. Even who didn't qualify the mains, but still their essay score was 145, 150, which is a very good mark. So that is the third format. And the fourth format is for your optional. Each optional faculty will be telling. However, before that faculty talks, we also have a group what to talk. So that common it is, whichever be the optional. And fifth is when you don't know an answer. Even when you don't know, you have to attempt. Who answers all questions, they are going to get an interview call. Now, if you said, no, only 16 questions I answered, 14 but best answers I gave, then you are out of race totally. Okay, so you have to answer all questions, whether you know or don't know. When you don't know how to approach, that as part of test discussion, we can take one answer which you will not know and how to generate answer for that. So that at least 1 mark, 2 marks if you get in an answer where you totally don't know, definitely you will get 1 or 2 marks. That 1 mark, 300, 400, 60, 70 ranks differ just by a single mark. Then if you don't know, say 6 questions in one paper, 6 into 4, 24 questions, 24 marks, think about the difference it will make. So you have to attempt all questions. Now attempting all questions, maybe everyone wants to. No one wants to go and leave a question and come out. Then why they are not able to attend? Because there is lack of practice. So start every day while reading itself, every day take 3 questions. Start writing. First it may be taking 15 minutes, then 12 minutes, 10 minutes. Then only you will realize, now itself when you start, what you read, it doesn't matter. How you are going to write, within 8 minutes, how many points you can give for that particular question. With subheadings, with underlining keywords. Now that practice start from today. Don't wait. Suddenly you are not Dhoni to hit 6s suddenly in the exam hall. It doesn't happen. You have to start now. Every day take 3 to 4 questions and start practicing. And moment our this weekly test comes, that will also have a good practice for you. First and foremost priority for you, you should be completing the paper. Not giving the best answers. Best answers and all no one will give. Okay, so completing the paper and somehow managing with better answers. That's because it's just you are racing against time and your competitors are also writing and most of them will be giving best answers. You give little better answers only. 8 or 10 best answers they may give. You give 14 better answers or 18 better answers to some useless answers where you don't know. Still you will stand at advantage when compared to them because there is no best answer. So please try to complete the paper. That should be your top priority. So once the result, I'll repeat, once the result is out, that mentors will be allotted and they will take you through. Means as a whole, we'll all take you through and whatever support you want, definitely whether it is material or separate room for you. As of now, many of you are reading there in our old building. There may be some uncomforts, I also got to know, but moment result is out, we can take care of all those things so that you have a separate room. Continuously you are given Wi-Fi. Last year also we did Wi-Fi. They have a separate, they are treated better than the other students so that they are not disturbed and give us result. So those all support mechanisms will start working once the result is out.